Hey guys, I'm Luke. Luke.D, I guess technically, because there was another Luke before. I'm not the original, but I am in the final two in this game. I'm very excited about this. I'm excited to share to you the stories and the strategies which I put in place to get me to this situation. But before I kind of do that, this video isn't sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, but it is sponsored by you guys from watching it. And what I mean by that is essentially just like thank you for taking the time out of your day, jurors, for okay, so if I'm being straight up honest, like lots of the time, jurors don't take their role seriously. They'll kind of like, maybe they'll check in once or twice throughout the entire season after they're voted out. And it can be a bit like annoying for like a finalist, knowing that you have played a good game and you want to share the experience to people, and then they just don't listen. But you guys, honestly, the amount of times like you react to messages, join the voice call, it's kind of just like, oh my gosh, you guys are like seriously great. So I'm sure Otter's very appreciative of it, and German and Alex, but I'm just deeply thankful for you guys. I'm sure you're all wondering, what did I do to get into this position? I'm sure you have many questions to me. I'm going to try and keep this video very broad. I'm going to make it kind of like the general overview. I would be typing this up, but I do feel like for me, I've connected through most of you through my voice. Maybe not my face so much, but definitely through this deep British accent. So I'm making this video in the sense where I want to be able to be like, you guys know who this guy is. You know the Luke.D, Tanner Salem, guy smoking a cigarette. I don't smoke. you know who that like avatar is, but I think you know me as me, so I want to be able to connect to you that way. On that note, however, I have got so much to tell you. I'm very happy that we have so much time to discuss. So let me start with the general overview. Just to clear the air in case it was speculated, I'm sure you all know this now, but I was throwing challenges at the beginning. Before the season actually started, in between the application stage and the casting stage, I went in ahead and just researched, just in case I made the cut, that I would think, hey, what's going to be a good strategy? Because Pentagon's a lot. I've never played a game like Pentagon before. I've played Survivor, I've played Big Brother, but Pentagon, I've never played it itself before, and it's a very different experience. So I went ahead on the research and I checked out the zones and what I thought were zones. Now I know the cycle. It was very confusing at first, but now I think we all have a good understanding how it works. Interestingly enough, though, the first thing I saw after I analyzed it for maybe only about half an hour was the way for me, someone like me, to play would be to throw competitions until like the cycle 5, and then or cycle 4 even, and then I'd start winning from the final 6 on. So I'd hopefully try and win the final 6, the final 5, the final 4, and the final 3. I did that, and I felt like this would be the best way of playing. I would 100% would have adapted if need be, instantly, within a heartbeat. If I realized the strategy wasn't working, I totally would have changed it. And I had lots of plans going in, but this was quite funny that it was just the very first confessional I made in the season was just me talking about, I might try and do something like this, and then the exact flow of events happened. So I think before the game started, I had that going for me, and I think that showed that I was prepared to play the game. Socially, how did I connect to other players? I think you guys can probably answer this one for yourselves, because how did I connect with you? Likely through the Vibe Voice Shack. And oh my gosh, am I so thankful that there was one this season. It was quite funny actually how the name came about. We were playing this game on the first night called the Vibe Restaurant, I believe it was, with Kaz and Roy. And then eventually my whole strategy became called Surviving by Vibing, and that's exactly what I did. But socially, what did I do to put myself forward in the game? Well, for a fact of a matter, I did a very, very good job at not burning relationships at all in the early games. Even though I was pretty strongly aligned with many people that went out pre-jury, I was able to kind of have them go, and my game wasn't in jeopardy. Maybe if I had tried to save them, then I'd become like a target, but because I was able to be friends with them, and with all you guys, the people that actually made the jury, it was a way for me to be able to progress. And the Vibe Shack definitely helped with that, because, I was almost always on the Vibe Shack. Every free moment I came home, I went on the Vibe Shack. It was a weekend, I can come home from a soccer game, Vibe Shack. I got home from work, Vibe Shack. Like, it almost got to the point where I was getting tired of the Vibe Shack. I really love it, and the reason I like it so much actually was because I had fun, and I was able to play games with people who I enjoyed. But I started to miss like my real friends. like my IRL friends, like the people who I usually hang out with them, but I ditched all that. I said no, screw it, I'm focusing on Pentagon, and it's helped so much because I was able to bond so strongly over just playing silly games or just having chats with all of you, and I felt like for me that was a huge help because at the same time, according to like Me6 and Tatsu, I still type the most like messages from the beginning of the season to the end. I guess Nizen, Snoot, and Kaz are all above me, but that was because before the season they had typed a lot. So I think it's kind of cool that I was able to not only be doing the most typing socializing, but also the most talking. And I spent most of my time talking on the live chat. So I definitely committed so hard. It doesn't seem hard because it was just fun, but dang, I put so much effort into just chatting with you guys. I loved it, but it was worked hard. Something I found really cool with this game was I was able to be very upfront and genuine to you guys, which in a game about manipulating and lying and cheating and stealing and breaking each other's legs, the fact that I was able to play a more positive area and have like serious live conversations, but also kind of just fun and goofy conversations, well, if need be, talking about the boat, I was being very open to you guys. And it wasn't stupid to be open, it was smart to be open because it created more plans, and I can talk about that if you have questions later. But I loved how I played the game because I was able to be social with you guys, but then I was also able to, while being social, be upfront. And I felt like those two things are very intertwined with one another, which is really awesome. I think a show definitely for sure because I didn't receive a single vote this entire season. I wasn't really in anyone's targets until maybe the final 6. At that point, I was able to win immunities because I like the 5. Out of the 4 challenges previous to the final 6 where I actually like attempted, I only submitted my actual time for one of them accidentally, which is the first challenge. I won all 4 of them. So I thought, okay, if I make it to the final 6, I'm pretty much locked just to start winning challenges at that stage. I think the best way I played this game strategically was knowing what was in most of yours best interest to play strategically. For example, I knew that if I had played in such a way where I had threats such as Kaz, or Forever, or Lily, who are around me, kind of basically as a shield, because they're playing a more, maybe not necessarily a better social game, maybe they are, but they're also playing a more strategic game, people are definitely going to be worried about them over me. And I was able to keep my threat level very small because of that. So in the event where I get blindsided, which I did, when Kaz went home, they didn't vote for me, they voted for Kaz. And I think that's why it was good, because this isn't a sprint, this isn't a marathon, this is like running around the world. It felt like it took so long, and I had to keep my threat level small for such a long time until the very end where I was able to burst and go and actually show what I'm capable of. I was also able to put myself in socially and strategic positions of power when need be. I didn't want to do anything really up until the final 6 except for just chill back and survive and set myself up for the final 6. I was definitely playing the game hard until the final 6. You guys just maybe didn't see it until the final 6. At the final 6, I blindsided Forever. I organised that vote. In addition, I was then in almost like a swing vote position. One could argue between Maximo and Best, but I felt like Best would almost definitely go with the relationships I had with people, and I kind of had planned out my end game from the final 6, so I wanted to be at the end with Maximo, Alex, and myself, and I felt like Alex and I probably win the 2 immunities, which we did, so everything went very much according to plan, which is almost scary, because how often does that actually happen? Like, not often. As for the final 4 vote, I feel like especially Amber would be curious about this one, as to why I lied to you. I'm assuming that's going to be somewhere in your question, so I will answer it there for you then. But that was also another stage of the game where Final 6, Final 5, and Final 4, I felt like I had so much control. And Final 3, I felt like I could just win, which I did, by like 7-1 against Maximo was the final result of the challenge. But yeah, Amber, text me about that, because the thing for me was when I blindsided Forever, sorry Forever, but I love doing that. Like, for me, that was so much fun, and I was like so excited. And then when I won that final, like me winning that final 6 community, knowing everyone else was vulnerable and I was safe to be in a position to make a big move, and it couldn't like flip back on me at that moment, it felt so good. That was my like highlight of the season. But then taking out you, Amber, was really tough because for me, there was. I was emotionally attached, I felt like, with almost every single person here. But that one just felt hard because I technically didn't need to lie. I could have allowed a 2-2 vote to happen, but instead I didn't want to risk Alex getting votes. So talk to me about that one, girl, because that's the brief overview. It's like 10 minutes long, and that's as short as I can make it because we played this game for like 35 days, guys. This was a long experience. For some of you, it changed. Some people became pre-jurors, some people became jurors. I'm lucky enough that with the skills I was able to apply to this game, I made it this far, and I'm genuinely excited to see what questions you have. I'm gonna be all available until tonight because I'm PST, so whoop whoop. So yeah, I'll be up until like, whenever. So send me a text then. Tomorrow I have a soccer game, and that's gonna take up maybe 2.5 hours of my day. But apart from that, I'm doing nothing. And on Sunday, I got laid off work last week, so I'll be around. So yes, text me or in the Q&A text whatever questions you have for me. Try and be as specific as possible so I understand where you're coming from. If you have any negative emotions against me, I will totally respect that. Best of luck to you, Alex. I hope we do good, man. I hope I beat you though. Okay, thanks for watching this, guys, again, and I'll see ya in the Q&A. I made one fatal mistake. You guys aren't watching this video for me. You wanna see Ginny? I'm sorry, I was blocking her. I feel bad now. But she's sleeping anyway, so I don't want to disturb her.